Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're talking Andreessen Horowitz venture capital firm. As a disclaimer, this is not investment advice. This is just a research video that I put together meant to be educational as well as entertaining. We're going to take a look at a few different news clippings and articles surrounding the VC firm, see how it operates. Then we're going to take a look at a few different companies that the VC firm is invested in. Thank you for your time. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Please enjoy.
So you started this firm in what year?
2009.
And how much money do you manage now?
About 18 billion today.
And how many offices do you have? You have one here, and you have one in New York now?
Well, the office question's gotten more complicated because we have people moving all over the moving all over the place. So technically we have two primary offices here, actually Menlo Park and San Francisco. We have a smaller office in New York that will be expanding, and we have another probably half dozen locations.
And how many professionals do you have looking for deals or doing deals?
Yeah, the deal team is probably, I guess 60 people or so probably in total.
But when people can approve a deal, after they approve a deal, do they tell you they've done it, or how do you?
Yeah, so we run a full process. Everything gets discussed. We're verticalized, so we have these different vertical teams that basically go out and work in all these different categories. Ben and I are on each of the vertical teams, so we're in the middle of everything.
Let's suppose somebody comes in and they make a presentation, and you, the founder of the firm, like it a lot. Can you get outvoted by your colleagues or not?
So we run a non-consensus process very deliberately. So we run what we call single trigger puller. And so each general partner in our firm, and we have about 22 of those right now, each of those has an investment budget, and then each of those general partners can make an investment decision without a vote. And we do that very deliberately because our view is a lot of the best startup ideas don't fit in existing boxes. And if you have a group, kind of a committee discussion process, you'll end up talking yourself out of some of the best deals.
So if you have a committee process, you don't actually ever need a consensus. Basically, you're a trigger puller, presumably, right? And so if somebody goes to you and says, Mark, I want you to do this, and you say, I don't want to do that, can they forum shop by going to your partners and saying, well, Mark didn't like it, but you might like it? Can they do that? Or once you have one shot at it at your firm and you're done?
Yes, they can do that. There's often a fit to the specific GP. So our basic model is the GP, the general partner who's the closest to the domain, who understands the most about that market sector, should make that decision. It should be the right partner. That said, sometimes one partner doesn't like it, another partner likes it, they pick it up and do it. We do talk a lot, and so every once in a while entrepreneurs try to kind of work around us, and they try to kind of surprise us and play the game. And
it's like a child with a parent if they forum shop.
Okay. Yes, exactly. So, every once in a while, but we tend to pick up when that happens.
It's always interesting, at least to me, to pick up on what the owners of companies do, the CEOs of companies that I am interested in investing in. That's just the way for me to wrap my head around their operation. It at least allows me to understand, or at least try to appreciate how they operate. And I think that interview, at least for me, it does me good. Just here on Wikipedia, just taking a look a little bit at some of their notable investments. Again, they started up in 2009. Skype, Aptio. They have a lot of what they started off and how they start off with looking at businesses that they see would be crippled by ongoing intellectual property litigation. So they kind of look at stuff that was picked up by bigger firms, and they try to get in early. In 2010, a16z invested $10 million in Okta. Facebook, Groupon, Twitter, Zynga, a16z has also invested in Airbnb, which is one of my bigger holdings for sure. So I like to understand when these VC firms, when they put or how they allocate their money, it at least serves to pay attention. If some of these bigger firms are, investing in these companies, it at least allows me, right, the little guy, the retailer, to try to pick up on those trends to see how it is that I can manipulate, or at least try to hedge my portfolio to try to make it perform the best that I can, right? And 2012, 2013, some of their bigger companies, the ones that I'm really interested in, I could do videos on GitHub. I've done a video on Coinbase. We're going to take a look at Coinbase in a little bit. But there's just so many good companies that, one, we probably haven't even heard of yet. There's a lot out there that they are getting in and trying to bring up to market and at least get their names known. But back in, they've been investing in Coinbase since 2013, right? And so since it just went public not too long ago, that was one of their bigger exits for sure. 2014, 2015, some of the big names where they invested 40 million in Stack Exchange, 2.8 million in Distelli, 80 million in a software company called Onshape. Again, there's just so many quality companies that most other maybe VC firms would not want to come near. At least that's in some of the readings that I've picked up on, that they're willing to take a chance on some of these flyers. 2016 to 2019, Appeal Sciences, Cadre, Smart Car, CryptoKitties, Definity, Earnin, Pindrop, Tenfold, and Very Good Security. They also invested a 9.2 million Series A round in AnyRoad. It's an experimental marketing platform. So there's just a lot, I guess, for me to pay attention to. And there's a lot of, right, like JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, they have different styles of it and how they will allocate capital. And for me, I guess a VC firm that is the way that they run it, like we heard in the very first interview, the way they have these vertical teams, single trigger pullers where at least they can get things run by them by their team before deciding to do or make moves and allocate capital. And I think it's just, I don't know, it's just smart, obviously, right? They've done very well. 2020, the firm led a 150 million Series G round in Roblox. If you're not familiar with Roblox, is their social video game platform. Figma, in May of 2020, the firm made a 12 million Series A investment in Clubhouse. Clubhouse is, a lot of people, I don't use Clubhouse. I've considered it. I've looked into it a little bit. I have friends that use it. And I'm not really quite sure if I'm sold on it yet, but it will become probably a thing that I will at least look into a little bit more, right? They've kind of an audio chat social networking app. It's valued at 100 million, and I think that it'll only continue to grow when it becomes adopted more, right? So in 2021, 100 million Series B for Clubhouse. So they continue to move up their series of investments for them. And in July of 2021, the firm led a 100 million Series A for the NFT marketplace OpenSea, which we will talk about here in just a little bit. That's a company that I am very interested in. They're valuing it at 1.5 billion. I think it's only going to continue to grow as far as their valuation. So again, it's just more of something that I see, or at least I want to pay attention to some of the companies that this venture capital firm is getting behind, right? So if you can pay attention to it and you can kind of make some of the moves that they are making, or at least try to get behind them, you don't just blindly pick a company. You're at least trying to pay attention to some of the companies that they are interested in investing in. So Alchemy was led by a Series C fundrise. So again, it helps me pay attention to some of these companies, and some of these companies that I have never heard of or whatever. I'll look into it. I'll try to see where in their portfolio that they will allocate it and try to go from there. That's really the best that I can do as of now, before reaching out and trying to be on some sort of email list where they let us know some of the like what ARK does. They're very transparent. So let's continue. So we're here on the Andreessen Horowitz website and Investing in OpenSea by Katie Hahn. I hope I am pronouncing your name right. I'm not going to go through the entire article. However, OpenSea, they are the platform as of now where you want to purchase or upload or follow NFT projects, and a lot of different ways to play the NFT and cryptocurrency, blockchain, digital art, virtual land, sports, collectibles. They raised their second crypto fund last year, and part of the core thesis was that crypto NFTs would catalyze new business models, right? So they see that OpenSea has definitely been on the rise. So they've paid attention to that, which means that I should probably pay attention to it. At least this is just, my early ways of paying attention to what this company is doing, right? If I saw another, like one of my daughter's portfolios is nothing but ARK ETFs. I've taken a lot of heat from that, but I continue to believe in their methods, right? So again, let's get back to this article. OpenSea provides a link between the consumer layer and the infrastructure layer for the digital goods. And consider A16Z, they at least try to compare it to like Zillow, eBay, Amazon. So some of these more disruptive traditional ways. Let's take a look here at OpenSea's daily volume. Now, it's obviously been trending upwards. NFT, the more mainstream it becomes, the platform definitely sees that. It's almost a pick and shovels way of getting behind everything that we discussed as far as virtual land, collectibles, art, this digital landscape that I think it's here to stay. A lot of people think that NFTs have been around for a little while now. They're not just all of a sudden they just didn't start. They're just all of a sudden becoming adopted. So a lot of celebrities are creating NFTs and whatever. So aside from the phenomenal growth, the founders are what they can only describe as all-star. CEO Devin Finzer was a growth engineer at Pinterest. He's also studied computer science at Brown. They have a solid team, right? Their CTO, Alex Atala, previously built cybersecurity products at Palantir, right? So you get these people that behind the infrastructure of OpenSea, and A16Z is just, they're looking their chops on something like this. They really do get behind these types of companies. They see it as a way to kind of continue to grow their portfolio. A16Z is leading OpenSea's $23 million Series A round alongside existing investors, right? So, like Mark Cuban, Rob Conway, Tim Ferriss, Belinda Johnson, Naval Ravikant, Ben Silberman, and many others, right? So let's just pay attention, right? This is at least in my opinion, OpenSea, once it becomes public, A16Z is going to, I don't know if they might exit like what they did with Coinbase, but if they continue to at least hold a majority of the stake into it, it's just going to continue to grow. So let's just pay attention to what they're doing, and let's move on. All right, we're here on the Block article. I'll leave it in the description below. Largest crypto fund ever. A16Z officially launches new 2.2 billion crypto venture fund. This article came out in the summer of 2021. I will not go through the entire article. I'm just going to highlight some of the key factors for me. Quick take. ANDREESSEN HOROWITZ has officially launched its new crypto fund called Crypto Fund 3. The fund has more than 2.2 billion to invest. The firm is also expanding its crypto unit with several key hires. And it's just, for me as a crypto investor as well, I do want to pay attention to how a VC firm handles cryptocurrency. And a source familiar with the raise now told The Block that interest came mostly from limited partners in the firm's previous crypto funds, right? They have 3 crypto funds. This is A16Z's crypto portfolio. Their infrastructure, DeFi, their trading exchange, custody, privacy, data cloud, gaming, enterprise, banking and payments, custody, brokerage, privacy. This is a... And I have a lot of friends who are Bitcoin maxis, and I own Bitcoin, I stake it, and I am all about it. I'm curious to see once Coinbase becomes and adds a little bit more maybe diversity. Robinhood's looking to maybe add different cryptos. Compound, a lot of these projects I can get behind, right? A lot of these projects, I am in some way, Filecoin, some way I am investing into these companies as well. However, you just take a look at, right, like A16Z, they just have the funds to do with these companies, and as they allocate this capital and they help these companies grow, it's just going to do well for the overall. The way I see it, it's just going to do it for the overall market. Of course, whatever happens with Bitcoin, a lot of people will speculate that that's where the market goes. And it's true, at least in my opinion. Whatever happens with Bitcoin usually happens with altcoins. So this is their portfolio. And it's this fund allows us to find the next generation of visionary crypto founders and invest in the most exciting areas of crypto. Dixon and Hahn wrote in a blog post. We invest in all stages, from early seed stage projects to fully developed later stage networks. In my opinion, you need VC firms to at least pay attention to some of the smaller projects out there. Otherwise, just the bigger projects just get eaten up. And eventually, you can kind of at least pay attention to what's going to happen with some of these projects. Perhaps it won't last, but this is all, again, in the early stages, in my opinion. So, they hired Bill Hinman, who is a former director at the SEC, who once said Ether is not a security, and Rachel Horowitz, a veteran Silicon Valley communication strategist. So they're adding some key people to their team, and I think it's just a smart move after all. Crypto venture investing, it's heating up. Once this fund was announced, you can definitely see, they're all weather, right? So they understand that in the near term, there's a lot of volatility. If you're not aware of that by now, then you probably should not be in crypto. But, I think that VC firms treat it like just risky companies to be investing in because tides turn on a dime. Take a look at this chart here, their venture and private investment year over year. This includes some data management, some SaaS, so just a little bit of how their portfolio works for them, their intelligence platforms as well. So they are seeing a trend. And of course, look, there's some volatility, there's some highs and there's some lows, and then, there's some more highs. But I think as the more adoption becomes more relevant into VC firms, as a16z goes, I think you can see some of the other big venture capital firms, even hedge funds, you can see a lot of where they tend to get behind. So I liked that the block did a good job of showcasing us their portfolio, so you can just see it all out there. It's right here. So let's continue. All right, real quick, I just wanted to jump onto the CNN business page real quick on Coinbase. Global is currently trading around $230 as of now. I just want to take a look at the forecast. The 20 analysts offering a 12-month price forecast, and this is just a 12-month forecast, I should mention. And just take a look at the high, around $600, a median of $390, and a low of $542, indicating the price percentage right underneath it. So, it's trading, a lot lower than its 52-week range. It is super young, this company, as far as it being publicly traded. So take a look at some of these analyst recommendations. There's 15 buy recommendations on this: 2 outperform, 6 hold, 0 underperform, and 1 sell. You got, at least in my opinion, Andreessen Horowitz has stated that they want Coinbase to be the largest, most profitable, the behemoth, the Goliath of all exchanges, right? So if you have a VC firm that's not only, invested in it, but they want it to continue to grow, I think that some of these price targets are realistic, especially if you start 5-10 years out from now. Imagine where it can be. I don't like to get too excited. You shouldn't get excited when you're talking about stock, but it is something that I'm paying attention to. Let's continue. And lastly, I like to take a look at my trading view. We're looking at the one-day chart of Coinbase. The reason why I am going to do a little bit of TA on Coinbase is because, again, I've stated that a16z wants this company to really perform well, as do I. I hold it in a portfolio for me. I'm going to be holding this portfolio for the next at least 30 years, if I'm lucky. All right, so let's just, make a little trend line from a bottom, the low 200s. So it's where it's currently trading at in the 230s. I definitely could see that it can continue to dip. It's definitely on a downtrend for sure. Definitely growth has taken a hit as of recently. As of recording this, I think that I'm just going to draw out a trend line. Let me also let me bring it out a little bit more. And I'm going to make a little bit of some supports, some places where I see where I don't think it's going to be in the short term, but I think if it pops above where it's currently at, we're definitely going to, in my opinion, we might see some more downturn. Anything can happen. Again, this is not investment advice, but I'm paying attention to the charts. You got to look at the charts, in my opinion. You just can't go with fill and news and stuff like that. So if we also take a look at where it has traded in the past, super early company, super young company, at least it's been public for not too long. I want to just tackle some of this downtrend. Like I said, it's definitely in a downtrend, and I'm going to just make a little bit of a triangle where I see some movement, and hopefully if it can get some legs underneath it. I don't see it dropping below $200. If it does, I mean, that's a great buying opportunity in my opinion. But this little area, this key area of the 330s, maybe 325 in that area is a key area for resistance. But again, the low 200s. I don't, again, 213, 215, 220 even. To me, I see those are like great spots to add. At least for me, I'll be adding to my position as they continues on this downtrend. And if it just, if it sinks below that, I'm not going to get too crazy. I expect, Coinbase kind of goes as crypto goes. And a lot of people would argue that, but it's just the way it's in the crypto exchange platform. So you have to pay attention to what some of these cryptocurrencies are doing. When they sell off, Coinbase sometimes sell off. When there's rips and tears in certain projects, Coinbase rips. So let's just pay attention, some key areas here, and let's pay attention to it. Let's keep an eye on it. All right, I'm going to leave it here. I want to thank you for your time. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really does help out the channel. It helps me continue to make these videos. It helps people find my content. If there's another company, ETF, IPO, cryptocurrency that you would like for me to research, just drop it in the comment section below, and I will do my best to get to it as soon as possible. Again, I think it's wise, at least for me, to pay attention to what these VC firms are up to, some of the companies that they are looking at, some of the numbers that they see as projections, and just kind of go from there. At least the way I see it is that it's a smart move. They are a lot smarter than me, and so I got to kind of pay attention to that. So again, y'all have a good week. Take care.